I haven't thought about Chainsaw Man in a while. Part of that's because at the point I stopped reading that was about 30 chapters ago. It felt like Fujimoto was going through the motions and doing a lot of setup or just characterization, whether good or bad. So I let it build up and hoped it caught my interest again. Well, definitely did, because I haven't been blindsided by a legit plot twist like this one in a while. And not one of those bullshit ones where it's like, yeah, this is a cool moment, but you ain't surprised nobody with it, because with the amount of foreshadowing you did, you might as well not have called this a twist. The Death Devil is presumed to be the final antagonist as of now in this story of Chainsaw Man, and recently has shown herself in chapter 197. Problem is, Fujimoto pulled a bait and switch. The Death Devil has been revealed a while ago. By a while ago, I mean chapter 108. In chapter 195, we were shown the Death Devil. And to milk it even more, Fujimoto was building up to the arrival of death and insinuated that this girl here is the Death Devil. In off appearance, she doesn't give off big bad energy because she's very emotional and somewhat shy. She used phrases like, I can save you guys with my power, and the class that she's in thinks she's very weird. So she does what they told her to do, and that's go crush some ants. At first, I thought this was some sort of symbolism, because everyone who has the power to affect life and death would view humans as ants if they viewed themselves as a higher power. Random NPC number 35 comes out and tries to, I guess, sympathize with her because of everything that's happened to their city and the tragedies that took place. And that wherever she came from had to be worse, considering she decided to come to this city at this time. She mentions the festival is sure to fail, and I have the power to save you guys. Through death, I'll release you from your earthly suffering. Then, the fake Chainsaw Man descends from the building, chanting about justice, and that he's gonna save the young man. And as he fights this girl, he realizes that she is very easy to kill, almost anticlimactic. The default Fujimoto drawing is freaking out and mad because he thinks this is an innocent girl. Luckily for him, he served his purpose as this girl grabbed him and absorbed his life so that she can rise again. Then her and the fake Chainsaw Man fight again, and she gets chopped up yet again. One thing I'll always give Fujimoto credit for is being able to always give these creepy designs, like these kind of goofy personalities or goofy moments. Like the fake Chainsaw Man in real life looks like he would be terrifying, like a living nightmare. But the way Fujimoto has written him, he's written him to be like a hero that is very stereotypical that you would see in like early comics and early superhero movies. Fake Chainsaw Man has a very passionate speech about mankind and hopefulness amongst this earth, and him and the Justice Devil are trying to do what Chainsaw Man did. She puts herself back together by absorbing the ant's life, introduces herself as the Famine Devil Family, confusing this Chainsaw Man and me before she could say the Death Devil is her sister.
Fall.
The real Death Devil was the girl we call Fami, who asks Yoru if she wants to be saved. Controlling the fallen devil, she has it slice up random targets and sets up the table. Also, there's this off-putting panel of her saying she removed all her organs and still couldn't die. I don't have trypophobia, but it kind of made me cringe a little bit, not gonna lie. The setup for this plot twist is phenomenal, and if you didn't reread part 2 from the beginning, you wouldn't have caught on to the dialogue similarities between the two Devil sisters. Also, that panel of her standing on the railing, looking down on them, that shit is hard to me. Panels like that, to me, speak volumes because it's being able to showcase a character or just display a character by just drawing, no dialogue. Fami's ability being life absorption was a nice illusion to make you believe Fami was the real Death Devil, while it is also being a double entendre because life absorption also would fit in the hunger. She's basically eating another life to keep hers. Now, I don't know if Fujimoto went this far into thinking about hunger, because people will say when you reach the limit of starvation, you'll eat anything to stay alive. Your brain and mental stability is at its lowest. This will lead to things like cannibalism, a very diabolical act that if any human committed this, they would just look down on themselves and what they just done. I mean, it's one of the most evil things you can do in humanity. And Fami, who has this weak mental health state, fits the bill of what this is. And the fact that she got cut up and she was able to still touch something and get life absorption, some tells me this might be like a heat-on situation in Naruto, where the only way she can really die is through starvation or obviously getting eaten by a Chainsaw Man. I hate to be that guy, but the Death Devil just got that aura, man. And I remember everyone thought she was the Control Devil because of the eyes, which I still slightly think she might have some sort of influence with that. Her goal is to destroy mankind, and even if she dies, another devil will be born and take her place. So Fami says out loud that Chainsaw Man needs to eat her so that doesn't happen. Except that won't happen because they are about to be eaten. She eats them alive with crows, and then she pulls these two doll-like forms out of her mouth and brings them back full size. And they seem to have control over their bodies because Fami punches Death and says, "You killed me." But once she gives the command, Then they turn into puppets and they must act on that will that she gave them. So the Death Devil is now active and about to move forward with ending mankind. Now, I could be wrong, but this feels like Chainsaw Man Part 2 is nearing its final arc. Moving over to what Denji has been doing, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't that entertained with the alternate reality arc and fight, but I did enjoy chapter 183 where he reminisced about what he's living for and thinking back to Aki and Power. And the last couple chapters where he rips things to shreds and you see Yoru shooting the aging devil and bring her to a world, that stuff I did like. Not that it was bad, but it was just a little boring for me. But I did see the purpose of why they were doing it. The stuff I did like was chapter 192 and on with Denji and Yoru/Asa, getting Denji away from the Devil Hunter organization, running away from citizens who think Denji is a fake Chainsaw Man while Yoru shoots at them. They end up at a Chinese restaurant and Yoru kills the owner because she's going to be the one to cook for Denji. I did like the conversation Denji was trying to have with Yoru about his friendship with the Blood Devil. He's still trying to meet back up with Power because he made her a promise. But even if he does, they will be strangers because it more than likely won't be the Blood Devil he knows. And that both Asa and Yoru are his only friend. Denji has learned the hard way that friendships where your supposed friend just wants something from you isn't a friendship at all. It's manipulation. And people like Power and Asa don't try to manipulate him. They let Denji be himself and figure things out himself. But this ends quick because Yoru controls Denji by the one thing that Denji just cannot seem to get over: his dick. She teased him for how pitiful he is as he's a slave to his sex drive. On the bright side though, Asa does like Denji, and a correlation so does Yoru, but in her own little twisted way. She kisses him and gives him the ultimatum of if he kills the Death Devil, she'll sleep with him. The same thing Makima did to Denji for the Gun Devil, just more explicit. And if he fails, she'll turn him into a weapon and do it herself. Which was going to be her goal more than likely if I had to take a really good guess as to why she even added that last part. Because let's be honest, that's kind of been one of her goals ever since she met Denji. Even though she's kind of already using him as a weapon metaphorically. Fast forward to the day of the festival, as Yoru and Denji are shooting buildings for the sake of practice and peace, Asa gains control back and warns Denji Asa is planning something worse than the human extinction. Now I don't know what could possibly supersede everyone dying, but Asa is the War Devil, so I'm gonna take a wild guess and say she's somehow going to make the world her weapon by using Denji. And I liked how Denji tried to comfort Asa, who was breaking down from all the things Yoru did while she was under control. Basically telling her, don't think about it and only think about shooting that broken building and I'll take care of it. So it looks like Fujimoto setting the stage for Death Devil versus Denji. I do find it interesting that they both kind of have similar abilities because Death Devil looks like her ability activates after she eats someone and then she's able to control them and give them commands. I'm sure there's other aspects of the ability that I would assume other things lead to death because consumption and then controlling is kind of interesting about that Fujimoto would go. As Denji, when he eats something, it's gone, it's pretty much done for. So it's almost like Denji seems more like, if you described it like the Death Devil compared to the actual Death Devil. And I would be a little surprised if Denji actually takes this on by himself. I think that'd be an incredible feat, considering he's got to go up against the Famine Devil, the fake Chainsaw Man, which I'm sure he could beat both of them, and then have to take on the Death Devil. It's interesting because he's gonna have to eat her and try to kill her. In correlation, probably gonna have to take on the Falling Devil too again. And I'm pretty sure Yoru isn't just gonna be sitting in the back the whole time, just waiting to see if he does it. She's gonna be planning something as well to help kill her. Because we do know Yoru does not care for her other sisters in this 4 horsewomen fiasco because she wants to just create chaos all over the place, which even then doesn't sound as bad as the human extinction. I guess that's gonna be what the real end game is I think Denji is going to have to fight Yoru/Asa at some point. Because clearly Asa is not going to be able to control Yoru for a long enough time or even strong enough to keep her at bay whenever she wants. And then there's always Yoshida and the organization in the background. I'm sure he's going to show up during this whole thing too. Actually, he might end up being one of the ones to fight Fami and the fake Chainsaw Man, considering he is a little stronger than I thought he was in the last arc that he was in. But I'm glad Fujimoto has set up his war to take place. I always think Fujimoto is at his best under 2 things, the 2 C's: characters and chaos. Right now we're going into the chaos section of Chainsaw Man, so I think these next chapters that's coming out, they gotta be must read, and I think Fujimoto's gonna do a lot of damage to the manga in a good way with what he's gonna do next. So leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. I'll come out with more Chainsaw Man down the line. Peace.
Yeah, Kim Jong, yeah, big bomb. On the bread, man, make your bitch big crumb. Yeah, out of my pocket, so they got my wrist numb.